Hello and welcome back to Song Surveys on Sofas with Superheroes, the sub-series. So I just want to let you guys know that this is the last week I'll be in this space. I'm moving on Wednesday, so we'll see what happens next week in terms of how I'm going to incorporate superheroes on with my sofa. Anyway, last week was a new song, so this week we're going to go old school. So the band that I picked is definitely a bigger band than some of the other bands I've picked for this part of the series so far. But this song in particular never really made it big, and it's definitely my favorite song of theirs. So I'm really excited to talk about it. And yeah, so let's get into it. So the song is Me and the Moon by Something Corporate. And it starts with this like fantastic, like 1 or 2 note buildup. And then after like 9 seconds, you get this like short, quicker piano sound, which is just like so wonderful. Love it so much. And that same music is carried into the first verse, with some differences, but the piano is definitely different, but it's very similar and kind of has that same sound and same intensity for that first verse. So right off the bat, the lyrics basically just tell you the story. It's pretty clear. The first 2 lines say that she kind of definitely just murdered him. So based on the rest of the lyrics, I feel like it's fairly safe to assume that it's a wife who murdered her husband. And then the 3rd and 4th line are just fantastic. There's no tears because he's not here. She washes her hands and she fixes the dinner. And so I really kind of like how just like haunting that is, right? Like she just did this big thing in her life and now she's not sad about it, but also she's just kind of going through her normal routine. Like she's just washing her hands and then she's going to continue fixing dinner. So that's like just an image for sure. And again, it's like just kind of like this like, oof, gosh, like she's just like stone cold, like, oh, heartless. Like she just killed this person and goes, washes her hands and then continues making dinner. So that's definitely an interesting lyric for sure. So yeah, so then after that, the music changes and there's this like string part that comes in that's definitely more prominent than it was before, if it was even there before. And I guess technically it's like the pre-chorus. So the line that I love is, but soon they'll be coming to rush her away. So I feel like obviously this wasn't something she was trying to hide, right? So she's like going back, fixing dinner, and like knowing that they're gonna come and like take her, I guess arrest her for killing her husband. And then the line after that is, no one's so sure if her crime had a reason, which is like the most like chilling line yet, right? So it's like, look, if he was a jerk and everyone was like, I mean, we all saw it coming, he was like this really like not great husband or not great person or like abusive or something, you're like, okay, well, like I get it, she snapped. But the fact that no one's so sure if her crime had a reason, that's really saying something. Like what happened here? So I think that this whole first verse is really good and definitely kind of forces you to be interested in the story. What happened here? Why did she do this if no one is really sure what the reason is? So the rest of the pre-chorus talks about like reasons and seasons and how they change, but you get this really great string element in there. And so there are multiple lines in this pre-chorus that end with away. And so the word away is held. And then right after that, you get this like quick couple string notes. And I love that part. I think it's so fantastic. And then it stops before the next line or as the next line is being sang. So I really love that effect. And I think it just adds such an element to that part of the song. It's so fantastic. And again, just like ending away and a couple of the lines end in away. So you get this like held away and then this like quick note of the strings and then a couple lines and then this held away word away again and then this quick string. So I really love that. In the last line, you kind of get introduced to this new piece of information. So it's 17 years and all that he gave the music drops right before the chorus starts, was a daughter. And then the music comes back in for the chorus. So as I was doing this, it occurred to me that 17 years and all that he gave was a daughter. In my head, I always just assumed the daughter was 17 years old, which which means like one of two things, right? So they got, and again, like so in my head, I assumed they got married 17 years ago and then had a kid soon after, which I mean, definitely could be true. But it recently occurred to me that they maybe could have gotten married because she was already pregnant. Or also maybe the kid's like not that old. Maybe they met 17 years ago, didn't get married until like 15 years ago, then had a kid like 13 years ago. I mean, I felt like while I was writing this, I was like, wow, my mind is blown. How did I not think that that was a possibility? I'm going to assume that this kid is 17 just because, well, so it also is super interesting because when you get to the chorus, so they give you this line right before the chorus. And so when you get to the chorus, I guess part of me, because of the bridge, wanted the chorus to be about this 17-year-old girl. And, you know, when the song came out, I was younger and the band was younger. So I was like, oh, like it's weird when you get to the bridge to have this like old lady with this like younger guy. And so I don't know, it just... Definitely, I think the second verse makes the chorus about the mom. So I don't think that the chorus is actually about the 17-year-old. And now that I've realized that she could not even be 17, I was like, oh, yeah, this definitely is about the mom. But anyway, that's where my head was at. And that's where it's been at for the past, like, 10 years. So, yeah, definitely interesting concept. And interesting that they made it very clear that that's part of this story, especially because the rest of the song is pretty much about the mom. So interesting line there. Would love to hear what you think about my terrible theories that are super not correct for that one. And then again, my whole like listening experience for the song changed just because I did this video and really had to think about what that could mean. So that's definitely an interesting thing about this video in particular. Anyway, so yeah, so for the chorus, the music comes in super full, especially, again, remember, it dropped completely for the last couple lines of that pre-chorus, and then you get this full sound. And in the chorus, it's really the singing that makes it fantastic. So words and syllables are held and like higher pitches are used, and it's just like so fantastic. I think the choices were great. And it's not like every last line gets a higher pitch or every last word in the line gets a higher pitch. It's just so well done. So the chorus is, it's me and the moon, she says, which gets higher. And I've got no, which is held, trouble with that. And I am, which is higher, a butterfly. And you wouldn't, which is higher, let me die. It's me and the moon, which is held, she says, which is higher. So, sorry, I know that was kind of crazy. I'll go over again. So it's me and the moon, she says, and I've got no trouble with that. I am a butterfly, but you wouldn't let me die. It's me and the moon, she says. So that's the chorus. And I'm not gonna lie, I love this chorus because I love signing it, but I also love singing it in Spanish. So yeah, it's fantastic. Love this chorus in sign, in Spanish, and in English. So I really love the use of their conjunctions and versus but. I think that it really is important in this part of the song and it really makes a difference. And I also love the concept of, but you wouldn't let me die. So I think it was really interesting because, especially coming right after I am a butterfly. So are we saying that because this person is beautiful and like unique and, you know, like that figurative, you're a butterfly, like you are like wonderful and unique and beautiful, and or is it because you can easily be killed if you touch the wings? Or is it that you've been this caterpillar until she's murdered him and now all of a sudden you've come out and are this new person? So I really like the idea that being a butterfly can mean different things, but I also really love the choice of you wouldn't let me die, especially when it comes right after this I am a butterfly. So is it that I just love that it's not necessarily that you wouldn't kill me. It's that you're not going to kill me, but you're also going to protect me. You won't let me die, right? And so I just think it's interesting. And again, that whole concept of, is it because she just became a butterfly that you won't let her die? Or is it that it's just so easy to like ruin and destroy this butterfly's ability to fly and live? I don't know. I just really like those two concepts together, and I think the word choice was really good there. Like I said before, especially with just even the conjunctions, down to the conjunctions, was so specific and really good. So then there's like a really fantastic quick piano transition into the next verse. And the music is definitely similar to the other verse. So the lines I like are, her heart like a crystal, she's lucid and departed. I love the idea that like a crystal, right? You think fragile, but also crystal is see-through, right? So that makes the lucid part totally work, right? Her heart like a crystal, she's lucid, she's see-through, her emotions are easily seen. So I really like that concept. I like that they both go together, but then it's not that her heart is lucid, it's that she is lucid. So I think that works really well. You get this idea of this crystal heart on top of her being lucid. But I also kind of like that she's departed as well. And I like that it almost sets up a contrast, even though it's not a perfect contrast. They're not perfect opposites with each other. But it's like, yeah, it's like you're see-through and it's clear, but then you're like not here at the same time. So can you still be lucid and clear if you're like not present? So I don't know, I just think that's really interesting. And I also think that when people aren't present, it's really hard to read what they're thinking or where they went or kind of where their headspace is. So I love that this person is like fragile and crystal and see-through, but then at the same time they're like not there and they're not present. So I wonder if like that's where in my head I get the contrast from, right? Like you're clearly like emotion, like I can understand what you're thinking and saying, but you're not here. So I feel like that makes it harder to understand what you're thinking and saying. So I just kind of like that's like a subtle contrast in my head. Again, I mean, if you don't think that I'm on the right track, let me know, please. So then I really like the line, a life left behind she can't find in her mind gone away. So this, I kind of was thinking, when I first heard the line and first really thought about what it could mean, I was thinking like her old life before she got married. But then when you listen to the rest of this part of the song, I really think that it's not. And I think it's actually the life that she just got rid of by murdering the husband. So again, it's just kind of like an interesting idea, right? So she's in the kitchen, she's killed her husband. She's in the kitchen making dinner, knowing that soon they'll be coming to take her away. So in my head, this all has happened very quickly. And then you get this line, a life left behind she can't find in her mind, gone away. And this is where that departed part comes back in. So she's so far gone that she can't even remember her life that was a real thing like 10 minutes ago. So I think it's an interesting line, and I definitely, again, knowing the lines that come next, I think that this part is definitely not about her life before she was married. I think it's supposed to be more about the life that she just left. But again, I mean, I could be wrong, so I'm interested to know what you guys think, if you think that that's right or not. But anyway, so then the verse ends, and again, this has this two words, away, which is, again, the string part comes back just like before, and you get this like held word, and it's fantastic. So really like that they made it different, used different lines, but still continued that pattern. So I thought that was really nice. And again, I really like that strings part, so it was great to hear that back. And again, you just use that away part, so I really like that. I also really love the first line of this pre-chorus. So the line is, away with these nightmares. And then also the next line makes me think that the left behind part is the bad marriage and not her previous life. So I really like that, away with these nightmares, like just you're done with this terribleness, even though this new terribleness is going to start because they're coming to take you away. I don't know. So there's some music changes for the last line before the chorus, which I love. The line, not necessarily the music change. You give up your soul till you break down. So I really, again, like that image in my head of giving like pieces away of yourself and then eventually not having anything left to give and just being like, and and I'm done. So I really like that image, and I think that that's definitely potentially the reason, although, you know, like she's just finally hit her max, even though it wasn't that bad. It was just continually not great. So eventually she just gave up so much of herself that it was like, I can't take it anymore. So yeah, that's just definitely a good line, and I like that. Then it goes into the chorus, which is the same as the first one, but then right after that, there's a quick percussion transition and it goes into the bridge. But the music for the bridge is pretty similar to the chorus. I really like went back and listened, and it was hard for me to hear very obvious differences. So yeah, it was pretty similar to the chorus. You know, you do get that one quick percussion transition. So again, this is the part where I wish that 17-year-old was there, because in my head, I'm thinking this band is a younger band. They're like probably even in their late teens, early 20s. But yeah, now that I've listened to the song and really analyzed it, I get why it's probably the mom. So the lines are, but what do you say we go for a ride? And what do you say we get high? And that word high is like, the pitch of it is so high and it's so good, and I really like that choice. And then my favorite line of the whole song comes in, and it's, but I'm so tired of days that feel like the night. And I love it. I love that concept. I love the ambiguity of it. Is it because it's dark? Is it because it's scary? Is it because you're tired? Why do the days feel like the nights? Like, what does that mean to this person? So I love that line, and it's definitely a line that I randomly pop into my head sometimes, and I'm like, oh gosh, just like, but I'm so tired of days that feel like the nights. So I love that. I love it. I love citing it. It's just great. It's so good, and I love that line, and it's fantastic. Anyway, the music drops for a few seconds and then comes back with another repetition of the chorus. The only difference is the first three lines are exactly the same, but then after they don't sing the fourth line. So the fourth line should be, it's me and the moon, she says again, but instead of repeating that, they repeat, I'm a butterfly, but you wouldn't let me die. And then after that, they just repeat, I'm a butterfly, like 3 times. And this part is fantastic because each time they repeat, so when they're singing just the I am a butterfly, every time the butterfly is held longer and sang at a little bit of higher pitch. So I love that choice. It's so good. And just go back and listen to that part. It's so fantastic. If you didn't notice it before, it is just, it makes it so good. So good. And it adds this feeling of like urgency. I am a butterfly, right? And then you get this repetition, but it's just like a little bit tweaked, and it's so fantastic. So really love that choice. It's so good. So then there's like this epic instrumental end, and I really love the ending to the song. And this is why in particular I would love to see the song live one time, because it's just so good. And you get this like piano, and there are parts of it that you have like these random higher, like really higher piano notes, and it's just so good. Like they're like not even really part of the song, but they are, and it's just like you get this random like hit of a high note every now and then. So fantastic. Really love the piano part. Again, it's like that quick short piano. I think it's wonderful. Then the piano stops and you're left with just these strings, which are so good and just so fantastic. And then they all kind of just fade out, and it's just awesome. I really think it's a great way to end this like story of murder, and just like, it's great. It's so good. Anyway, while I was looking online, I did notice that Andrew McMahon was credited for writing this song. So Andrew McMahon, anytime you want to sing this song while you're on tour with Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness, you know, just like play it when you're in DC area. Maybe that would be preferable. But so let me know what you think. Do you love this song? Have you never heard of this song? Was it not your favorite on this album? Listen, I know Constantine is great, but this song just is like so my song. Anyway, let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you next week with a new song.